In today's video, we'll be avoiding the rain, kind of, and heading into King Arthur's Labyrinth. Through magical waterfalls and caverns, we'll discover tales from the legend of King Arthur. Throw in a few dragons and a bit of Welsh rarebit, and it's a top day out in Wales. If you don't know us, I'm Rachel, the Soup Slurper's Wills, and we are Postcard and a Pint. So to start the day, let's get there. We're heading to a place called Corris, near Machynlleth. As always in Wales, the views along the way are stunning. This looks like Corris, and today we've booked to visit King Arthur's Labyrinth, which very handily is situated at Corris Craft Centre. All parked up and raring to go. Share your thoughts, Rach.
We've arrived. There seems to be a really lovely craft centre. We're going to have a look around. And before we do this experience, I am going to tell you the story of King Arthur. My style.
Yeah, later on. We've got some craft to see first. It's a craft centre where the artists work on site, from blowing glass and firing ceramics to producing gin and chocolate. Those are gorgeous, and you know you're in a Welsh craft centre when there's a chocolate sheep. Next, we tried the sweet shop. It was around Halloween when we visited, and there were many Halloween candies for sale. And as Christmas is coming, this may be in order. Now, we loved this and wanted to take it home, but
we went to buy a little wax melt holder and wax melts, but their card machine's not working, so no sale today because we've got no cash and it's lunchtime.
Yes, it is. Everything served and sold in their cafe is all locally produced. It's a hot chocolate for table 36. It's a Welsh rarebit with chutney for me and soup for Wills. How is it, lad? Excellent. Now your fella over there is blowing glass, which isn't rude at all, whereas your fella here looks like he's busting a grumpy. It's the face that does it. Anyway, onward to the Labyrinth entrance / gift shop. There was definitely a night theme going on, and a supernatural one too. We were super excited to get going, but paused to reflect on our lads, who we miss so much. Now, did someone say they were going to tell the story of King Arthur? Step outside, Rach, and do your worst.
OK, so the weather's gone a bit Wales on us now, but before we get in there, I'm going to tell you the story of King Arthur. I read it on the way here. This is my version. It might not be too factual, but let's roll with it. So, there once was a king called Pendragon. Cool name. He fancied Igraine, who was the wife of the Duke of Cornwall. She was married. He thought, I know, I'll disguise myself as the Duke. And he nipped into her room one night. At his wicked way, she'd either been on the mead or hadn't taken her contacts out, didn't notice, and Arthur was conceived. So Merlin, who was a wizard, took Arthur away from his mum and dad and brought him up himself. I don't think he liked his slightly rapey dad. Anyway, Merlin had given a big round table to King Pendragon, and I think he wanted it back. So King Pendragon dies, and Merlin finds a crafty way for Arthur to be king. He sinks a sword into a stone and says whoever can get this out is the king. One day, Arthur was tending to his foster brother. When his foster brother's sword broke, he went, go out, here's another one. Out he went, he saw a sword in a stone, he bent down and he lifted it out just like this. Arthur is now the king, and it was a great time in knighting, if that's what you say. He went out, he did some crusades, he killed witches and dragons and giants. It was a jolly good time. One of the things he was interested in was finding the Holy Grail, you know, Jesus' cup. So they went off to find it, but they didn't find it. Well, Sir Galahad found it, but they left him behind, ready for the third Indiana Jones film.
I'm Indiana Jones!
No, you're not. I'm moving on. Now, old Arthur, he fancied Guinevere. She was the daughter of the King of Scotland. Sadly, Guinevere fancied Lancelot, but like rapey dad, like rapey son, he married her anyway. But of course, she had an affair with Lancelot. Didn't see that coming. Anyway, when Arthur found out, he was very cross. Lancelot fled to France. Arthur fled to France after him and had a little bit of a fight. While he was in France being fighty-fighty with Lancelot, his nephew Mordred claimed the crown and became king. Arthur came back, wasn't happy, more fighty-fighty. Most of Arthur's knights were killed and Arthur himself was mortally wounded. He asked his mate to chuck the sword back in the lake. He got on a boat and sailed away to Avalon, where he hoped his wounds would heal and he'd come back to be king once more. That's the story of King Arthur.
Yeah, right. Thanks for that.
Now let's go and have a look in the caves and find out the real story.
A much better idea. You start your experience in the meeting tent. From there, a guide walks you to a small cinema room where you collect your hard hat. Then a Welsh Tom Cruise John Barrowman hybrid tells the legend of Arthur. Not as well as me, obviously, but probably with better historical detail.
And history depended on the memories of fans and storytellers who wandered.
Yeah. Then some Saxon armies came across, fighty-fighty and all that.
Saxon armies.
We want to go in a cave.
You gotta keep up, we'll get left behind.
I feel I'm rocking the red hard hat and ready for adventures. Our group walked down to the cave's entrance. And before we knew it, we were there. It had a dragon on, so this must be the right place. It's a short walk through a tunnel until you arrive at the first cave and the underground river. Here you board a long, narrow boat and prepare to set sail. Well, I'm excited.
When Sir Modred felt that he had the load of his debts, with one last...
As you sail along, you hear tasters of the stories that you're about to experience.
It's Avalon.
Well, that's different. That's a symbolic place. A kind of magical island where you can go for a rest.
Arthur's is a story that has been embellished over the centuries, and we're about to dip our toes into this magical world. In this story, we learn about a young Merlin.
The man is a king called Guthrum, whom the Saxons called Vortigern.
Why is Merlin leaving?
Listen, and you will hear the voices.
Merlin, welcome. You are the boy I've been seeking.
Why do you need me?
Merlin, once known as Myrddin Emrys, was taken by Gwaithane as a sacrifice to stop his castle buildings from falling. Myrddin revealed that there were 2 dragons fighting below the castle in a lake. Gwithane's soldiers pulled the dragons from the lake and they continued to fight until the red dragon was victorious, and that is why we have a red dragon on our flag. Next we learnt of the giant Rita Gawr and the legend of how Mount Snowdon was formed. Rita Gawr was the mightiest giant of ancient times. He collected beards of defeated kings and wore them as a coat. He wanted Arthur's beard. An enraged Arthur fought the giant and eventually defeated him. Where he fell, his men piled rocks on him. The snow fell upon it, and today that is Mount Snowdon. We walked through a cave of dragon's blood and heard many more stories along our travels. The last story we heard was of Arthur's final journey to Avalon. Having been mortally wounded after clashing with Mordred, the wounded King Arthur was taken to Avalon on a boat, accompanied by 9 fairy queens. There they laid him on a golden bed, and Excalibur was thrown back into the lake. Filled with tales of Merlin, Arthur and dragons, it was time to leave this mystical world and return to the boat. We sailed once again along the underground river, enjoying the light along the way. And this time, the underground waterfall looked like this. Our entire tour had taken about an hour, and for that hour we'd been lost in the myths and legends of Merlin, King Arthur and Wales. All too soon, we were thrown back into the reality of a very wet day in Wales, but what fun it had been. Now, for £10.95, was it worth it?
That was really good.
It was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a little bit more detail to it than the story I told you before. But it was great. You down you go into a boat, which was cool, through a waterfall, and then all different stories are in different caves.
Yeah, it was about a 6-minute
boat ride,
Yeah.
followed by, in total, probably about half a mile walk, I think.
Yeah.
Followed by the boat ride at the end as well.
Yeah, different stories of giants, stories of the knights sleeping in a cave. And again, most of the story probably isn't true.
But again, the other truly true, to be honest.
Based on some knights somewhere, but the stories have embellished over the years.
You know what I liked about
What?
it? It kind of reminded me of years ago when we used to involve in a lot of plays,
Yeah.
telling old Welsh folk tales.
And Mabinogion
yeah,
and all.
Mabinogion and all the voices in there sound like they could have been our mates.
Yeah, and yeah, it was really good. And if you're staying in Barmouth, Dolgellau, Machynlleth,
Anywhere mid-Wales,
anywhere
really.
mid-Wales, and the weather goes a bit Welsh on you,
Like this,
it is a really good day out with the craft centre as well. Your kids can get involved, or you can get involved in candle making, glass blowing, chocolate
there's mines as
making,
well.
And there's mines.
We're going to
as well.
go in the mines in another video one day.
But yeah, it would be a really good day out anyway, but especially if the weather's gone a bit Welsh.
Yep.
So there we go.
Well, wasn't that fun? And we'd just like to apologise for these. We are tired. It's probably been the longest week in work.
It's been a long
Yeah,
week.
he's just finishing off like a 70-hour week. But it's all right, because I got a star from Home Bargains, a nice cheap star. Decorated the house for you.
It was lovely. I came home the other night and we got a room which isn't our normal room, which is normally just a bit of a tip, to be honest. And it's all tidy, little Christmas tree in the corner, star. It was lovely.
Anyway, Christmas enough.
Oh, come on.
King Arthur.
It was ace.
It was really good. The craft centre is brilliant. There's so many interactive things to do. You can make chocolate, you can watch them glass blowing.
There's
and
wooden carving things. It was really good.
It was really, really good. And then the actual mine itself was brilliant.
The statues were nothing special, you know,
it's not
the
high
characters.
tech, it's not animatronics or anything like that, but
They
it
had
had
heart.
really good heart, and the stories were lovely.
They were good fun.
I just wish I could have remembered more of them, but yeah, we really, really enjoyed it. And they do mine tours as well.
We wanted to go, there just wasn't time.
And they're
Quite
closed now
expensive,
for
though.
the winter season. But yeah, you can go on like a 3-hour down the mine tours and stuff. There's quite a few attractions there.
We'll do that
and
one
if
day.
you're ever stuck in a wet day in mid-Wales,
Go and visit King Arthur.
Go and visit King Arthur and Corris, and it's definitely worth doing.
It is.
Right, important stuff.
More importantly, dashcam names.
Dashcam, yes.
We did a bit of a random video this week, or
Yeah.
last week, I don't know if you saw it. We reviewed a dashcam.
We
What's all that
reviewed a
about?
dashcam. We still haven't got it plumbed in properly. And we got lots of different names, quite a lot of Christmas-themed ones.
We asked for a name, what we should call it.
Yeah, we loved the Christmas-themed ones, but as we said in the video, a dashcam is for life. It's not just,
for Christmas.
So our favourite one...
But hang on, our second favourite one, the Christmas-themed one, was Dasher.
Yeah, second favourite one was Dasher. But the one we've gone for is from Firefly and a little bit from David H as well. He kind of did it a different way.
Yeah.
And it is Jean-Claude Dashcam.
Jean-Claude Dashcam.
So
Yeah,
to
we
be
like that
known
one.
as Jean-Claude the Dashcam, who now lives in a car. So
Jean-Claude
cheers
Dashcam.
for that. So if you like this video...
If you'd hit that button, it's free
Yeah.
to subscribe, it's free to push the button, do the bell. Do all
Yeah,
that.
leave
Feel
us a
free.
comment. Have you decorated your house with decorations from,
Home Bargains?
Home Bargains like we have. It's
Yeah.
cheap and cheerful.
It is cheap and cheerful.
Anyway, as we say, in Postcard and a Pint,
Cheers to the good times. What does King Arthur call his knife that he uses to slice his omelette with?
I don't know.
Excalibur!
Oh.